So we open on this guy, codenamed the Jackal, because clearly Mr. Stabby Face was taken. He's a world-class assassin with a mask so realistic, and he's doing voice practice, which is just fancy assassin lingo for creepily mimicking some poor janitor's voice while probably Googling how to sound less like a Bond villain. But plot twist, the janitor's just his warm-up act. The real meat, sack on his hit list. A guy named Manfred Fest, German Chancellor candidate and walking embodiment of Hey Alexa, play fascism light. Jackal waltzes into the Fest Corporation HQ like he owns the place. Security. Puff. You know your protocols suck when someone gets in wearing a mask and nobody blinks. Pretty sure my Aunt May could break into this place with a pair of Crocs and a confident strut. Jackal starts shooting at Elias, but purposely misses. Why? Because trauma makes for better headlines, duh. Elias takes off like someone just spoiled the ending of his favorite anime. Jackal follows, shoots him in both feet. Elias is down, begging for his life, and our murder Batman just vanishes. Ninja smoke exit not included yet. Back at his hideout, which probably smells like gun oil, regret, and cheap ramen, he peels off his old man disguise. Then he does some assassin homework, checks the wind speed for tomorrow's murder party, and takes a nap. Because even murder hobos need 8 hours or they get cranky. Next morning, the news breaks Elias got turned into Swiss cheese. Manfred is en route to the hospital, probably rage vomiting into his fascist laddie. Meanwhile, Jackal is assembling a sniper rifle so advanced it probably has Bluetooth. Oh, and plot twist, his hideout, right next to the hospital. Convenience is key when you're committing war crimes. He scopes the area, takes a test and adjusts the sights until his aim is deader than my childhood dreams. So Manfred, definitely not Hitler. Fest rolls up to the hospital in his armored convoy like he's the star of a Dictator-themed Fast and Furious spin-off, Fast Hun Fascists Unite. Protesters are out in full force, screaming stuff like, "Down with Fest," and probably, who the hell named their kid Manfred? Meanwhile, our boy Jackal is up there, calm as ever, sniping prep complete, vibe check passed. He's got one shot, one opportunity, mom's spaghetti. The second Manfred steps out of the car, Jackal sends a love letter traveling at Mac Jesus through the window and one of the guards gets a glint of Jackal's scope using binoculars, because of course, now they remember those exist. Jackal, being the polite psychopath he is, doesn't shoot the guy, nope. Instead, he just calmly packs his things like he's checking out of a Motel 6, casually leaves a bomb behind like it's a Yelp review, and strolls out. The cops. Oh, their own IT now. Sirens blaring, they race toward the room thinking they've got him cornered. Kick down the door, ready to serve justice. No Jackal, just red mist and broken dreams. And because that wasn't extra enough, Jackal drives to an underground garage, and guess what? Boom. He turns his own car into a Michael Bay moment and walks away like he's contractually obligated to never look back at explosions. Now shift scenes, new player enters the chat. Meet Bianca Pullman, ME6 weapons expert and walking Pinterest board of British brilliance. She's watching the news about the assassination like, oi, someone out there's got a bigger gun than me. Which, frankly, hurts her feelings. She gets home to her husband Paul and their daughter Jasmine, who's glued to an interview with Ule Dag Charles. Yes, that name sounds like a Bond villain and a skincare brand. Ole's pitching some software called River that's gonna expose all the dirty secrets of billionaires. Spoiler alert, they're all evil, and at least 2 of them are probably lizard people. Anyway, back to Bianca, who's now in full Sherlock Holmes mode. She pulls up ballistics reports and sees the shot that killed Manfred came from over 2 miles away. 2 frickin' miles. That's not a shot, that's an intercontinental relationship. A meeting's being held to discuss the whole mess, and Bianca is not invited. But does that stop her? Ha! She goes full James Bond meets Karen and begs her boss, Osita, to let her in, because sniping is her love language, damn it. So our girl Bianca, not on the meeting roster, pulls a sneaky little spy move, and just walks the hell in anyway. That's right folks, you can't keep a sniper fangirl out when there are sexy guns to talk about. Inside, a bunch of uptight suit-wearing types are getting briefed by German intelligence, the which I assume involves lots of shouting and over-pronounced syllables. But Bianca, oh no, she interrupts, just barges in with the confidence of someone who's memorized every ballistics textbook and probably judges people by the size of their muzzle flash. She asks the room killer question, can you confirm the distance of that shot? Because guess what? That sniper round. Yeah, it would have shattered the world record, embarrassed every Navy SEAL, and made every gun nut on Reddit cry tears of admiration. Problem is, no regular rifle could pull that off without being the size of a telephone pole, unless it was a collapsible barrel rifle. Everyone's like, that's not real, that's gun fairy tale BS. But Bianca. Oh no. Bianca knows a guy, a Normansdoke gun wizard. DIY ballistics Jesus. A man so obsessed with modular weapons he probably folds his cereal spoon in half for fun. Osita thinks this is all tinfoil hat stuff, but Bianca's got that unhinged glint in her eye that says, I'm about to drag you all into a rabbit hole of ballistics and betrayal. After the meeting, senior ME6 badass Isabel Kirby pulls Bianca aside for the classic, "Well, believe in you, don't screw this up" speech. It's touching, in a "we will totally disavow you if you fail" kind of way. Meanwhile, in Paris, Jackal's having a very European moment at a cafe. He logs into the dark web saga where bad guys shop for crime like it's Amazon Prime Day, and gets a juicy offer. Someone wants a meeting. Jackal's first instinct is, no. He's got rules, he's got standards, he's got, oh, wait, $10 million. Okay, rules shimules. For $1 million up front, he agrees to meet, because even assassins gotta hustle. Smash cut to Northern Ireland, where Bianca meets her contact known only as Sparrow. Whose surprise isn't a grizzled ex-spook in a trench coat, but a totally normal woman named Allison, who also happens to be Stoke's wife. Allison says she hasn't seen Stoke in forever, which is exactly what every spouse in a spy thriller says right before getting caught lying. Bianca isn't buying it, and hits her with the "you better not play me" energy. Allison folds a bit, says she'll try to get a meeting with the gun wizard himself. Back to our favorite murder hobo, now in Sweden. Jackal's chilling in the middle of a frozen nowhere that probably smells like pine trees and existential dread. A woman named Zena shows up at a cozy little kill, meet cabin. Romantic, really. Zena drops the target Ule Dag Charles. Yep, the tech billionaire, the same guy building a software called River that spills all the billionaire tea. And suddenly it all clicks, this ain't just murder. It's Silicon Valley war crimes. Jackal hears the name, does some quick math in his head, then tells her, cool. That's a $100 million hit. Zena's like, oh, let me call the evil committee and check. But Jackal ain't waiting. Dude vanishes like Batman on Adderall. Meanwhile, back at ME6, Bianca still hasn't heard from Allison, and she's suspicious. So what does she do? Digs up dirt on Allison's daughter Emma. Because nothing says, I'm done playing nice, like dragging someone's kid into spy drama. She walks into a high-level meeting with Isabel and Osita just as they start dissecting the Fest assassination like it's a crime-themed episode of Bake Off. Bianca's patience gone. Her next move: arrest Allison's daughter, Emma. Activist, idealist, and currently in the wrong place at the wrong protest. Bam. Cops grab her. Oops, we lost the rulebook. In custody, Emma's hit with a fake assault charge. She wants a lawyer, which is exactly what Bianca was hoping for. One call later, Mom gets dragged into this mess. Then it all goes to hell. Emma has a heart attack in her cell, then another, and then she's gone. No spy gadgets, no escape. Just a young woman dead, and a mother left in the dark. Bianca. Back home, she gets the call from Allison, who's now suspicious as hell. Bianca lies through her teeth. Doesn't even tell her Emma's gone. Just says, give me Stoke's number. Yep, cold as Arctic roadkill. MI6 panics. Enter Mr. Carver, professional cleaner. Not the kind who scrubs floors, the kind who erases lives. They've got 24 hours to bury this scandal, one loose end. A cop who knows Bianca's name. That's it, everything else, disposable. Osita wants out. Bianca shuts that down hard. We're chasing the guy who just murdered a world leader, she argues. Collateral damage is just Tuesday. Isabel agrees. Carver nods. The cover-up begins. Meanwhile, Jackal's sipping espresso in Spain, acting like he doesn't have blood on his hands. At home, he plays the doting dad, smiles for Nuria, hugs Carlito, but in his office, he's rage scrolling through unpaid murder invoices. His client stiffed him on the Fest hit. Big mistake. Nuria walks in. He hides the screen. She senses the tension. Jackal shrugs it off. Client's flaking. Got another job, though, big one. Might finally give us a break. Translation: I'm about to shoot another billionaire, then we can go build sandcastles. Enter Xena, now sucking up to her mega-rich boss, Timothy Winthorpe. Think Lex Luthor, minus the charm and hair care routine. They watch tech messiah Charles yammer on TV about River, his magical truth bomb software designed to expose billionaire skeleton. Timothy, not impressed. TV off. Kill him before the world finds out I buy islands to hunt endangered species.
Do I make myself clear?
Meanwhile, Allison's at home, chain smoking stress and regret. She wants to fly to England to see Emma. Except, surprise! Being broke sucks. She turns to Larry, her human rain cloud of a husband. Call Stoke, she says. Your brother owes us. Larry balks. Something illegal something. Allison's out of patience. Then we're screwed, she says, emotionally but also 93% done with everyone's nonsense. Cut to Spain, where Jackal's pretending to be normal, hosting his son Carlito's birthday party. Balloons, cake, blood debt hidden behind his charming smile. Then's ping, new message. His bank account just lit up like Vegas, and with it, the exact location of the rich jerk who stiffed him. He reappears with a bag full of gear and guilt. Nuria's face says, not again. Carlito just wants more cake. Jackal's already halfway out the door. Nuria insists on driving him. Wife of the year, or hostage to a double life. Nuria drops him at the airport, kisses him goodbye. Except, plot twist, Jackal doesn't board a plane. He hops his way to a private bank vault like a discount Jason Bourne. Her face freezes. She calls, goes to voicemail. And just like that, she knows he lied. Again. Nuria gets home, still trying to process the whole "my husband just drove past me in a cab like he's Batman" moment. She tells her mom, big mistake. Mom instantly jumps to, he's cheating on you mode like it's a telenovela. Nuria defends him, because love, and denial, and also maybe mild trauma bonding. Meanwhile, in the world of tragic married couples, Allison finds out Larry finally reached out to Stoke, the elusive gun wizard with a moral compass so bent it's basically modern art. Cut to Bianca, still playing spy boss Barbie, giving Isabel and Osita her report. Verdict, this assassin is probably British, probably ex-military, and definitely a walking instruction manual for how to ghost a government. She's also traced his backpack, British-made, exclusive, and not sold internationally. Translation, our psycho shopper is local. Score 1 from Inc. 6 Amazon Prime, Stalking Division. Bianca wants more time with Allison, but Isabel shuts her down like an unpaid intern. Get her to talk. Tomorrow, or else. Classic boss energy. Elsewhere, Jackal touches down in Germany just in time for a call from Xena. Great news, her boss is on board with paying him the GDP of a small nation, but he wants a meet and greet. Jackal, like any responsible hitman with boundaries, says, sure, but you come to me, sweetheart. Meanwhile, Allison and Larry are at a bar. Allison's not exactly trusting Larry to carry this whole spy mission, so while he's off ordering drinks, she hacks Stoke's number from his phone faster than you can say, domestic espionage. Bianca gets the text, boom, Stoke's digits, right in the middle of family dinner. Jasmine's cooking. Paul's kids are over. Everything's normal, except Bianca's gotta leave again, because her job is less mom and more reluctant female Jason Bourne. She ghosts the dinner and hops on a flight to Latvia. New city, new mission. New sidekick Meesig Spencer, who may or may not be cosplaying as a secret agent just for the hotel points. Back to Xena, who's having a wine and paranoia dinner before heading out to meet the Jackal. She thinks she's in control. Spoiler, she's not. Jackal's already trailing her in a disguise. Think discount Daniel Craig meets guy you avoid eye contact with on the subway. They sit on a park bench like it's a Tinder date for sociopaths. Xena tries to bargain. Jackal doesn't budge. You pay me to kill. I also have to not die doing it. That's extra. She drops a cool $20 million as a down payment and wants it done before River spills billionaire secrets like a Reddit thread on steroids. Jackal doesn't love deadlines, but hey, once the cash hits, it's game time. So Jackal, fresh off his bench date with Xena, starts playing amateur accountant. He rolls into the bank to sniff out who ghosted him on payment. It traces back to a company called Hellolini. Sounds like a pasta brand. Spoiler, it's not. He pokes around and finds out it's not just a shady company, it's a trust. And who's behind the trust? A dude who's besties with Elias Fest. Wait, hold up. Elias is in, please don't shoot me in the feet. Elias. Yeah, him. Plot twist, Elias put a hit out on his own dad. Meanwhile, back in Spyland, Bianca and her discount Avengers are closing in on Stoke's cabin. They creep in like it's Call of Duty, only with more real-world consequences and fewer respawns. Bianca calls out to Stoke, real polite like. But Stoke responds by blowing up their third agent with a home improvement project from hell. One guy explodes, the other gets turned into Swiss cheese. Bianca finds the consolation prize, a mysterious suitcase. Yay! Jackal in a dark room going full conspiracy board. Red string. Photos. Glare, then boom, he connects the dots. The dude funding the trust is tied to Elias, and now Jackal knows for sure Elias killed Daddy Dearest. Time to go full John Wick on Junior. Meanwhile, in Spain, Nuria's mom is still channeling her inner soap opera villain.
He's cheating on you.
She cries as if Jackal disappearing in a taxi was somehow a romantic getaway and not part of a multi-million-dollar murder spree. Nuria finally gives in and calls her husband. She tells him she saw him in that cab. Oh, Jackal, you've got wife problems, and trust fund murder problems, and a deadline. Good luck, buddy. So, Jackal's got a problem. His wife, Nuria, is starting to put the pieces together. She's not buying the "wasn't me" excuse. She's certain she saw him in that cab. But Jackal, oh, he's got the old "let's video chat" trick up his sleeve. Show her around the room, make sure the lighting's flattering, maybe throw in a potted plant for the ambience. Classic. Nuria's still not buying it, but she lets him off the hook. For now, the cracks in the trust are showing. She wants to fly to Amsterdam, but Jackal's got more excuses than a teenager avoiding curfew. Busy with work, honey. Super important work. Definitely not killing people for money. But of course Nuria isn't dumb. She's starting to think her husband's living a double life. Spoiler alert, she's right. So, she heads to his office, the place he's probably got a million clues pointing to his homicidal side. And bingo! She hits the jackpot. Underneath the floorboards, a hidden safe. Jackal, you had one job, don't leave your murder secrets in the floorboards. Classic rookie mistake. Now it's time for the action. Enter the mission vibes. Jackal's all business. He gets his commencement fee from Xena, heads out to a parking lot, and ambushes Elias driver, taking his place in the car like he's the world's most sieve body double. He's got this. So what does he do? Take Elias for a high-speed chase ride, of course, because who doesn't love a good getaway scene with a bunch of gunfire after a heart-pounding chase, complete with sharp turns and "you're not catching me" vibes? Jackal manages to get away like a pro. But here's the kickery. Elias, he finally recognizes Jackal, and you know what he says? "I'll pay an amount to save myself." But Jackal, he's like, "No.
I had you to shoot my father, and then you shot me, so I was mad."
Thanks, kid, it's about the principle. Elias is dead. Jackal sets a bomb in the car, just for funsies, and leaves the scene like he's going to grab a coffee. The bomb goes off just as the backup agents arrive. And over in Jackal's world, Nuria and her mom are trying to get into the vault, and guess what? Alberto gets in. They crack it wide open. Inside, the motherlode Jackal's disguises, weapons, and a lot of cash. Jackal's watching them the entire time on his security cameras. Yeah, he's been ahead of them all along. This is not a game, it's checkmate. So, here's the deal, folks. Bianca is getting closer to the truth. She finds out that Elias was a big fat liar. He ordered the hit on dear old daddy, and when he couldn't cough up the cash, guess what? Jackal's bullet put a stop to that whole family drama. But, surprise, surprise, nobody can figure out who the guy behind the trigger is. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but, you know, the needle's really good at not being found. Meanwhile, our favorite Jackal is on a little road trip of his own. He's driving, just minding his own business when, boom, a bird flies by. Yeah, a bird. And instead of being all zen about it, he gets distracted and smashes into a truck. The truck driver's a real stand-up guy though. He decides to flag down a cop to report the accident. So, Jackal's like, "Oh, you want to check my trunk? Sure, go ahead. But inside, it's not your average junk. Oh no, it's cash and a gun." Cop's like, "Hey buddy, what's this?" Jackal's like, "Let me show you something." And then bam, both the cop and the truck driver go from alive to not so alive in record time. He stages the scene like it's a murder mystery dinner gone wrong, and then, poof, he's gone. Right at home, Nuria is like, something's off with my hubby. She gets a little spidey sense tingling when she notices Jackal's behavior is, a tad suspicious. So she's like, you know what? Screw it. He finally comes clean. No, he's not a secret agent or some charming husband. No, he's been lying from day one. Turns out, Jackal is all about industrial espionage, living a life of fake names, bribes, and sometimes breaking the law. You know, the usual. He thinks this is going to make Nuria feel better. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But Jackal, being the smooth operator he is, tries to convince her that everything's fine. Nuria isn't having it though. She's like, "You're putting me and Carlito in danger, you maniac." Jackal does the only thing he knows. He reassures her. "Once this last job's done, we're golden," he says. He promises that once it's over, no more lies. Of course we know that's a lie in itself, but hey, it's Jackal. Meanwhile, Bianca's not feeling optimistic. Isabel is barking orders like a drill sergeant, telling Bianca to fix this mess. Bianca, being the smart one she is, suggests getting Vince on the case full time. After all, you need someone trustworthy around here. Isabel agrees, but she's a stickler for details, so Bianca better start sending those updates. Stat. Now, onto Charles. The guy's basically a walking fortune in the flesh. He's finishing up his little swim, not a care in the world, when, wait for it, his security gives him the news. There's a contract out on his life. No surprise there, really. It's Charles, after all. But he's already ahead of the game. He's expecting it. His team tries to talk him out of attending this big river launch.
Mr. Charles will be extremely vulnerable.
Who's taking out this contract?
We don't have that information, sir.
Off to Estonia he goes, scoping out the venue for the event. He sees the concert, checks out the security, and oh hey, he sees a perfect spot for a sniper shot because of course Jackal is watching from above. But then, whoops, Jackal gets a little too close to the edge and down he almost goes, grabbing a wire just in time to save himself from turning into a pancake. Classic. He gets his phone back because of course he lost it, and life goes on. Yet surprisingly emotional mercenary. Cue dramatic music. Jackal's got his work cut out for him. His rifle, the masterpiece of evil genius, should fit into a prosthetic walking aid. Oh, sweet irony. I need his blueprint for my next get-rich-quick scheme. Step 1, attach guns to crutches. Step 2, profit. It's simple, really. These two are like a dysfunctional buddy cop duo. Cue awkward silence. But whatever, at least Jackal gets what he needs. A custom plastic rifle with a detachable trigger, packed inside a walking aid. Why not? It's the perfect accessory to a life of violence. Stokes and Jackal printing a plastic rifle. A partnership built on trust, betrayal, and a little bit of 3D printing magic. They're just two peas in a pod. Wants to test out the very rifle they just built, and guess what? They decide to blow up a watermelon in a wooded area. Because when you're a professional assassin, clearly you take all your equipment out for a picnic in the woods. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackal and Bianca playing a game of cat and mouse. She's on his trail and he's just so damn smooth about it. Like a creepy, uninvited shadow. He's following her team, just chilling behind their car. At least he's got the decency to give Bianca a warning shot in the form of a clean up and leave message to Stoke. And then, oh sweet justice, Bianca and her squad roll in. And they take Stoke down. They think they've got it all figured out, don't they? Spoiler alert, they don't. Enter Jackal, stage right, because this guy is like a ninja mixed with a ghost. Headshot, courtesy of your friendly neighborhood assassin. Bianca and her team are just chasing him like they've got a free subscription to, but he's too slippery. Horses, cliffs, rivers, the works. This is like a weird, violent version of Carmen Sandiego. But in the end, oh, Jackal always finds a way to disappear, like the true ghost he is. Now, cue the abandoned barn where Jackal decides to chill, as one does after jumping off cliffs and evading ME6 agents. He's like, hey, I'm just here for a nap. Don't mind me. Unfortunately for him, Attila, the barn owner, isn't exactly handing out towels for the wet, cold assassin crowd. Nope, Attila's pissed, and he's speaking Hungarian like it's his favorite language. Jackal, with his clearly impeccable language skills, I mean dude speaks like 5 languages on a Tuesday, tries to respond in English and German, but nope. Attila doesn't give a damn, probably thinking Jackal's just another insufferable tourist looking to take over his barn. And then there's the classic Jackal move. He offers to buy his way out. But these guys are a bit more stubborn than expected. Enter the plot twist that we all saw coming. The cops. But Jackal? Oh no, he's too clever for that. Nah, he's too busy preparing for his next dramatic escape. Knocks Attila out, leaves him with his last meal. Spoiler, it's a little too permanent for Attila, and goes for the car. The thing won't start. I mean, classic. Nothing ever goes as planned for our Jackal. Then, of course, Gabi and Laszlo show up, and while they're in the house, Jackal's already on the move. Probably with a smile and a sarcastic quip. And, oh my god, he just shoots Gabi from under the car. And Laszlo's just standing there like, welp, guess it's time to hand over the keys and surrender, 'cause I'm in over my head. Then, he decides to call Nuria. Oh, this is just peak Jackal. He fakes the dramatic emotions. Now, you gotta love the scene with Laszlo. He's sobbing like his life's about to come to an end, which, spoiler alert, it is. But Jackal, despite being the absolute menace that he is, just won't pull the trigger. There's a moment of weird morality creeping in, like, I'm not gonna kill you. But if you talk, your family is gonna have a bad day. Like, a really bad day. I mean, that's Deadpool levels of messed up, but it's Jackal for you. Morally gray, even when he's practically drowning in blood. Then comes the cafe scene with Xena, where Jackal basically throws out the "I'm a good guy who's really bad at it" vibe. Oh, but don't think for 1 second he's not in control of the situation. Xena's worried about the client, but Jackal's like, "Nah, I'm always gonna deliver, just not on anyone else's timetable." Xena's clearly trying to make deals, but she doesn't realize she's just another piece of Jackal's very messed up puzzle. And then, Nuria shows up with a disguise. I mean, why wouldn't she, right? Jackal can't just go anywhere looking like a murderous sniper. He's got to pull a tinker, tailor, soldier, spy, move and turn into an old man in a wheelchair. Courtesy of Jackal. Nuria's watching, intrigued as he morphs into his new form. Meanwhile, Bianca and Vince are at the airport, clearly not at their best, and Jackal's like, "Oh yeah, no worries. I'll just be on a plane in disguise, you know, pretending to be an old man and watching you two dweebs from afar." Jackal's got one mission now: leave Tallinn, get out of Dodge, and make sure Bianca and Vince are chasing a ghost. Bianca and Vince finally get a glimpse of his face and, wow, they're gonna have nightmares. Nice job, guys. Way to go. Jackal's at the theater now, blending into the crowd like a chameleon with a sniper rifle, because why not? And then bam, here comes Charles. This guy just refuses to let the Jackal finish his job. Huh, classic Charles. You had one job: stay in your fancy bulletproof box. And what happens? Some guy rushes the stage and bam, Jackal misses his shot. I mean, of course he did. Without hesitation, the Jackal dissolves into the crowd, leaving behind nothing but chaos and confusion in his wake. He's a ghost again, vanishing before anyone even knows to look for him. Law enforcement and ME6 flood the concert hall in the aftermath, locking down the perimeter with grim efficiency. When they finally discover the sniper's nest, it's a surgical setup. Cold, professional, and emptied of any personality. The message is clear: he was here, but where he's going next? That's anyone's guess. Across the media, the Jackal's face, grainy and pieced together by forensic software, begins to circulate. For Nuria, the image isn't just disturbing, it's devastating. Her husband's likeness stares back at her from every screen. Whatever denial she was clinging to collapses. Unable to hold back, she calls him. It's the sort of call that either heals something or breaks it completely. The Jackal answers, voice steady, measured. He tells her to remain quiet, no questions, no confessions. If anyone asks, the man on TV is just an unfortunate look-alike. His calm delivery might fool the world, but there's a crack in it now. He's rattled, even if his voice hasn't caught up yet. Back at ME6 headquarters, Bianca is running out of threads to pull. Every obvious trail has already turned cold. She needs something deeper, something off the books. That's when she thinks of Doggett, a name like a whisper in a locked room. To access his file, Bianca doesn't just ask for permission, she launches a bureaucratic expedition. Her superior, Isabel, has to twist arms at the top, pull strings that don't like being pulled. When they finally open the file, the initial pages are insultingly clean. Doggett was, officially, a war hero. A sniper in special forces, died in the field. Case closed. But deeper in the dossier, the real story begins to bleed through. Flashbacks surface like memories trying to breathe. Years ago, Doggett, an elite marksman with ice in his veins, was stationed in the Middle East. His spotter Gary was more than a partner, he was a brother in arms. Together, they spent 6 bone-dry hours buried in a desert hide, watching a Taliban commander through a shimmering heat haze. When the target finally stepped into the kill zone, Doggett pulled the trigger. 1 shot, 1 kill. No room for poetry. Their reward? A brief reprieve. They were sent to Cyprus to decompress. A gift, if you can call it that. That's where the shadows found them. One night, in a half-lit bar that smelled like sweat and compromise, a stranger approached. He was well-dressed, soft-spoken, and radiated quiet menace. The offer was simple: eliminate a Turkish business rival for a private client. No flags, no missions, just cash. It was the kind of offer you walk away from if you want to keep your conscience. Or the kind you take if your conscience hasn't spoken to you in years. They took it. The job was quick and silent. The target never saw them coming. By the time the man hit the floor, Doggett and Gary were already gone, ghosts with a payday. And just like that, the line between soldier and assassin began to blur. The breaking point came during what should have been a precision operation, an extraction at a wedding, of all places. Doggett, always a step ahead, spotted a hostile sniper. He took the shot, but the enemy fired back. Chaos bloomed instantly. Bullets flew. Civilians screamed. When the dust settled, there were more bodies than explanations. The cover-up was swift, brutal, and deeply unethical. Their commanding officer, ever the patriot, ordered the execution of surviving witnesses and called in an airstrike to wipe the slate clean. On paper, it was logged as an ambush. In reality, it was a massacre dressed in military jargon. The convoy rolled to a stop when Doggin noticed something off. A child's bicycle left out in the open, too perfectly placed. Suspicious, he signaled the unit to halt and checked it himself, accompanied by Gary. It was a trap, but not theirs. No, this trap was Doggin's own doing. In one clean sweep, he triggered the explosives he had previously planted. The charges ripped through the team with surgical efficiency. When it was over, only Doggin and Gary remained, standing amid the wreckage they had created. Doggin turned to his friend, the words cold but resolute. This was the only way out. Faking their deaths was the final mission, one they'd orchestrated themselves. Whatever they'd been before, they weren't soldiers anymore. They were fugitives with a moral debt and no intention of paying it. The meeting is set, on paper, at least. A coastal hotel, a handshake with a Cuban psychopath, all arranged via Nuria's brother, who's clearly competing for worst judgment in a supporting role, while the gangster and his soon-to-be regretful investor wait inside. The Jackal waits offshore, drifting in a nondescript boat like a ghost with a grudge. Factored in when the window opens, it's one shot, one corpse. The Cuban goes down mid-sentence, likely between the words, "Trust me." The scene makes national headlines within hours. Bianca doesn't need confirmation. She sees the metaphorical fingerprints and knows exactly who pulled the trigger. The Jackal wastes no time returning to Croatia to finish what he started. Alone now, he performs a pre-game ritual, calibrates, loads, and fires a test shot. Every detail matters when you're about to kill a man from a moving boat. The Jackal lines up the shot, and then a tourist boat blares past, sending waves crashing. Timing meets sabotage. Worse, Charles's security team spots the boat and dispatches a guard on a jet ski. The Jackal reacts instantly, neutralizing the guard and frying the drone with electronic countermeasures. It's not elegant, it's not quiet, but it works. Security scrambles on the island. Guns out, radios buzzing. The pressure mounts. Still, the Jackal waits, watches. Charles resurfaces, flanked by a bodyguard. The trigger is pulled, but the bodyguard intercepts the bullet like a human shield auditioning for sainthood. Charles dives again, adrenaline fueled and paddling for dear life. The Jackal exhales, steadies, tracks. Charles surfaces. Second shot, no hesitation. This time, it ends. He throttles the boat hard, skimming across the water toward shore. There's no celebration, no relief, no time for finesse. But fate, or irony, isn't finished yet. Police checkpoint, he floors it. The city streets twist and tighten like a trap. Sirens behind, narrow alleys ahead, and then, a child. Mid-run, the Jackal swerves, metal screams. The car flips like a coin tossed by karma. Flames catch fast. He's dazed, pinned, and seconds from becoming barbecue. A truck driver spots the wreck and rushes in. Good Samaritan. Meet professional killer. The Jackal plays grateful, then pulls the gun. Classic, he commandeers the truck and drives it to a remote location. Empties a can of fuel over every surface like he's prepping a barbecue with rage. Then, without ceremony, he sends the truck hurtling off a cliff. It explodes in mid-air, a flaming signature written in debris. On foot and bleeding, he stumbles across a modest campsite. An elderly couple, friendly and unfortunate, offer help. He claims to be injured. They buy it. He asks for a ride to the hospital. They agree. But somewhere on the road, the mask drops. He pulls his gun and calmly reroutes the journey toward the border. Tension thickens. The couple share quiet, terrified glances. The kind you give when you realize your passenger might be tomorrow's headline. At the checkpoint, security is tight. Guards are alert. Charles's murder is still fresh news, and the border is on high alert. In the back seat, the pressure snaps. The old woman pulls a knife from somewhere no one thought to check and drives it into his back. The old man lunges for the gun. The Jackal, caught off guard and bleeding, fires. The man crumples, a casualty of bravery and bad timing. The woman, wild with grief, attacks again. Another shot, silence. 2 innocents dead. 1 assassin, wounded and alone, leaving more tragedy in his wake than any one bullet ever could. The Jackal stands over the bodies, still and silent. His face is stone, but not unbreakable. A flicker of something, maybe regret or just exhaustion disguised as conscience, crosses his expression. Jackal finds a signal and dials Nuria. His voice sounds like it's been dragged through gravel, rough, drained and worn at the edges. But beneath it, there's a low hum of something fragile hope. He tells her it's over, really over, that this was the last mission. No more guns, no more blood, no more lies buried under passports and detonators. Just them. A vacation, he says, somewhere warm, somewhere stupidly peaceful, where nobody's trying to kill anyone. Nuria listens, silent. Hopeful, suspicious. The call ends like all their calls lately. Jackal strips the camper for parts, plucking anything that can trace him like a surgeon removing shrapnel, and walks off down a dirt road, fading into the countryside like a story that never wanted to be told. Back in London, Bianca isn't fading anywhere. She slams her badge on Isabel's desk like a gauntlet, demands authorization to chase leads in Spain. The Cuban Charles, it's all connected. Not random hits, but a pattern with the Jackal's name scrawled in blood. Isabel pretends she's listening, but her eyes are calculating risk like a stockbroker watching the markets burn. She shuts it down. Hard, political red tape, diplomatic noise, the usual parade of polite cowardice. Bianca doesn't flinch, so Isabel pulls the plug. She's out, off the case, permanently. Later, Isabel meets someone who really signs the death warrants. The foreign minister himself, greasy with secrets and American connections. He doesn't mince words. The Jackal's employers want a full sweep, all loose ends tied off. Bianca, she's not a loose end, she's a fuse. And once she finds the Jackal, they'll cut her too. Isabel, not quite dead inside, passes her a lifeline, quietly, off the record. Finish it, she says. Bianca gets the message. She flies to Spain, sets up near Jackal's supposed residence, and begins the patient, sleepless waiting. That evening, motion. Nuria exits the house, her son in tow. He steps into the house, instantly sensing something is off. The silence is too complete, like the calm before a betrayal. His eyes flick over the living room to the missing shoes by the door, the toy his son left behind. He barely has time to register the ache before his phone buzzes. Zena. Her voice crackles through static, tense and fast like someone pacing while speaking. She doesn't bother with small talk, just drops the bomb they've sent killers. For you. For me. Nuria's brother, hammered on whatever liquid courage he found in a bottle and armed like a rejected action figure, storms in, slurring her name and waving a pistol like it owes him money. He stumbles right into the agents. It escalates quickly, loudly. Gunfire erupts, erratic, messy, the soundtrack of a man who doesn't know the safety was off until it's too late. He doesn't make it far. Jackal hears the gunshots and cuts the power. The house plunges into black, every corner now a potential death trap. From above, calm as ice, he fires. Vince drops, no scream, just the dull thud of a body learning gravity the hard way. Now it's Bianca. Bianca tries to talk, offering a deal mid-duck. She says they can burn their mutual employers together, expose the suits who puppeteer the bloodshed. She dangles freedom, reunion, redemption like bait on a hook. Jackal listens, doesn't blink, then politely declines with a bullet. Bianca's last breath is drowned out by the wail of the fire alarm dying with her. Jackal's on the move, heading for the airport, clutching his phone like it holds salvation. He calls Nuria. No answer. Again. Still nothing. She's dumped the phone, burned her digital shadow. Smart, painfully smart. Then, bam, a car blindsides him, metal twisting into chaos. Meanwhile, MB6. Isabel strides into Acet's office with the smugness of someone who's just tripped into a promotion and decided it was destiny. She delivers the news like it's a toast, brushing aside the deaths of Bianca and Vince like spilled coffee. Acet doesn't celebrate. He stares at her, something burning behind his eyes. Regret. When she leaves, he opens his drawer. Inside, the truth of Bianca's message. Her voice, recorded and raw, recounting Isabel's off the book's orders like a confession carved into wiretap. Acet listens, sits still for a long time. Then, like a coward king too scared to burn the throne, he deletes it. One tap, and justice dissolves into silence. Elsewhere, Europe. A man in a sharp suit, walking like the bruises on his face are just misunderstood fashion statements. It's the Jackal. He walks past police officers like they're trees. No sweat, no limp. Just a man heading nowhere in particular with absolute purpose. Zena's already there, eyes darting like she expects the sky to fall. He sits beside her like they're just old college buddies, catching up on murder and espionage. The war isn't over, but the players are finally face to face. The bench creaks under his weight. Across from him, Zena barely flinches. Her eyes stay sharp, her voice sharper. They promised us 100 million. No, they want us dead. Cute. The Jackal doesn't respond, but his jaw tightens like a man chewing glass. She slides the folder across the bench. Names, faces, operations, receipts, the kind that get people killed. Will hit them first. Hard. Together, he nods, slightly. Enough to say he's listening. Not enough to say yes. Xena raises an eyebrow. She knows him, knows this isn't a no, it's a maybe, with a body count. Colder this time. Cleaner. He stands, folds the folder under his arm, blends into the city like he never existed. And that's the tale of the Jackal. He's a mess, we're a mess, and you, dear viewer, don't forget to hit that like button like it's the last Snickers in the vending machine. Smash it, punch it, kick it, I don't care, just do it. And subscribe if you want more of this messy, blood-soaked chaos. Till next time, stay snarky, stay deadly, and always remember, if someone offers you a free drink, and they look like they could be an international assassin, don't take it.